All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Thank you for tuning in and appreciate the mods in the chat. And if you see that man, Asif, he's a great gentleman. If I was new here and I saw the way Asif worked around the live chats and in the comment section, I would assume that Asif was an employee of mine or my partner or something because he just puts in so much effort, man. I feel like the only person working harder in the world right now than me is Asif. And again, if you go to Amazon and read the reviews for my book, Asif has the top rated review. I don't get to rank the reviews. It's just people found his review the most helpful out of all the reviews that have been left. And want to say thank you to him. I see Bobby's out there. Bobby, very generous man, came out and pounded payment with us in Spokane back on September. Was it September 26th or 27th? Maybe it was both days actually. I think he came out. He came out both days, Saturday and Sunday. Pretty sure. But that was awesome. What's up, Natalie? What's up, Sebastian? Disambiguation always doing a great job too. So anyway, just want to say hello to the chat before we get into this. And also before we get into this, I just want to say that, I've been at this for a long time. I've been on the path of what is going on in this world since at least 9/11, and probably really before that, but 9/11 just really set me off. I was 18 years old when 9/11 happened. I knew something was so wrong with what they were telling us. It was just such an obvious lie. It was such a joke, and somehow hardly anyone could see it. And then I knew something was just really wrong in the world I lived in. People couldn't see the obvious, being laughed at in their face by the media and establishment, and under some sort of hypnosis, some sort of mind control. And I said to myself back then, I said, if something's not done about this, it's going to get really bad in my lifetime. And I didn't know what the time frame was, but man, I mean, I don't know. I guess I knew it was going to get really bad, but it's just like, it's bad in an unbelievable kind of way. It's the kind of way where on the nightly news they can tell you that cold and flu cases are down 98%, but there's this killer virus out there that has very similar symptoms to the cold and flu, but more often than not, if these people make it to the hospital with it, they get put on a respirator, which isn't the typical course of action. And as we've heard from many people who've lost their relatives seem to have died when they got put on the respirator, and then it blamed on COVID. But again, just times where they can treat us like this. Lester Holt in his suit. Tonight, cold and flu cases down 98%. 3 days later. Tonight, where is the flu? A week later. The next twindemic? Next year, could we see the flu return with coronavirus? Experts warn we could see hundreds of thousands of more deaths. So it's like, what the hell? So people are watching this and they really think the flu just disappeared and now there's just COVID? Is this for real? And it's kind of just like what I was saying after 9/11 too. And again, by the way, for anyone new here, if there's a QAnon banner under my live stream when you're watching this on the re-recording, that's a new thing YouTube started to do. That's absolute defamation of character. I've explained for the entire the entire time that QAnon's been here that it is a psychological operations meant to discredit the truth community, and someday we'll all be associated with it. I was saying that years ago. Here we are. Now me, the person who spoke out against it for several years, the entire time it was here, now I'm being labeled by Google as QAnon. I told everybody this was Google's psyop from the beginning. But anyway, I mean, it's just like, really, people? Are we really this dumb? And since when are you not trusting the science if you question putting, essentially a sock over your mouth, that's going to keep out the killer virus? Don't you remember learning about that in health class when you were growing up in state mandatory school? About how putting pieces of cotton over your face keeps you safe from killer viruses? Isn't that what they showed you your whole life in Hollywood with all the big emergency suits? These insights into things like the CDC. Isn't that what they always showed them? It wasn't in the big hazmat suit with the gas mask and the oxygen tank, was it? It was just like a little piece of cloth over their mouth. As long as they had that on, then they could go in the big box store or go get their money out of the bank, as long as they had the face diaper on. I never thought there'd be a time in my lifetime where you had to wear a mask into a bank. You know what I mean? It's like, really? So you're holding my money and I have to wear a mask to come in here? Maybe today I'm going to come out with more than just my own money. There's never been a better time. But, I mean, it's just like, God. I thought people couldn't be any dumber after September 11th. I just thought it wasn't possible to fail the stupidity test worse than the people of the world did after 9/11. And I understand that was more so in America. The rest of the world saw it for what it was, but somehow, America under the spell of we're the greatest, freest nation there ever was, even though we have almost no freedoms at all. To be told when to do this, what age to do this. No, you can't do that. No, 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 no. The only plants you can smoke from the earth are the ones that we lace with rat poison and put in a Marlboro box. It's like, really? I don't even like those ones. They make me dizzy and my lungs feel sick and I stink. Give me the green stuff from my neighbor's backyard. But, yeah, I mean, this country has just been a joke, man. But now it's just like a whole new level of joke. It's like a whole new level of joke. Literally, that's how it is. Lester Holt with America's most trusted news. Tonight, flu is down 98%. Hold on. We'll be right back from another ad from Pfizer. CNN's like literally coming back on commercial breaks from Pfizer and then being like, coronavirus vaccine conspiracy theories. It's like, wow. I mean, who's like watching this and taking this in? Pfizer has settled for billions of dollars in lawsuits for negligence and being responsible for people's deaths from their toxic medicine. And then they're the one that rushes out a vaccine. And then CNN's taken the time to denounce, people online that are questioning, is the vaccine a good idea? Those people are just losing their speech rights left and right on big tech, which is private. That's the whole game in the U.S. Can you guys do me a favor out there? Can you stop using terms like communism and all this? It does annoy me, honestly. What's the difference between communist China and the Democratic Republic of the United States of America? I'll tell you what it is. They probably have more rights in China. They're probably more democratic in China, the communist nation. I don't know why people keep using these labels. Can't you see the same fascists control the whole world? Everyone thinks their label's the best. Well, I'd rather be considered Democratic Republic than communist. What's the difference? They're not taking your wealth and redistributing it? It's not a class system? It's not just total propaganda and control over the news and media by government? I mean, I thought these were the qualities of communist nations. Same qualities we got here. Some of you guys are like stuck in the 80s. I think it's because you're older, but anyway, I mean, just the nation's just a joke for so many reasons. Everyone just stuck in these labels, world of labels. I'm a liberal. I'm a conservative. Can you just be like a thinking person? Not some label that was put out there so you could jump in the box. I'm an independent. Anyway, that's if you're going to be one, that is the right title. Be independent in your thoughts. But, yeah, speaking of CNN, last night I brought this up, but I'm going to bring it up again. Last night on CNN, Chris Cuomo looked in the camera and first he got done doing a rant on QAnon wackos, all these QAnon wackos out on the internet saying this and saying that. And I was like, see, this is exactly what they're doing. Google right now is putting QAnon on all my videos. Now they're upping this language every night on CNN about QAnon wackos. This is the new thing. Got to put it in as like a talking point 10 times per hour. And it's like, okay, this is great. So now when people will encounter me who watch CNN and maybe are trying to dabble on YouTube, they see my channel, and before they even click play, there's a big label on the screen that says, this is QAnon, which is a conspiracy theory that's been debunked. It's like, okay, I'm not QAnon. I've never been a part of QAnon. I've always hated QAnon. I've warned against QAnon. I said QAnon would be the thing used to discredit us, just like the flat earth. And, here it is. It's like 3 years later, and now it's the label on my Google video. Because remember, in Gematria, Google and QAnon equal the same thing. And I'm sure that's why they're saying I'm QAnon, because QAnon used Gematria after they came, years after I'd already started exposing how relevant this knowledge is. Now they try to discredit it with all the other wacky, false stuff of QAnon. It's not like QAnon was ever good at Gematria anyway. All they ever talked about was Q was 17, but they never pointed out that modern Freemasonry was created in 1717, and then 59 years later, this nation was created, and 59's the 17th prime. But anyway, last night, Chris Cuomo, after he got done with his QAnon wacko thing. Then he shuffled into the Equality Act and how, there's these myths out there that some predator man's going to use this Equality Act to use the ladies' room to get to, Johnny's little daughter, or however he said it. He said something like that. It's like, wait a minute, Chris. You're going to go on the news and say that no man would ever use this to be a sexual predator of another woman, whether they're a little girl or a woman of age? We live in a world full of sexual predators, and that's just a fact. I used to work in a group home. I learned how backlogged the group home was to get in children into beds there because they'd been raped by their own family, their parents, an uncle, somebody living in the house, parents pimping out their children for money. This is going on all over the place. There's all sorts of people that have, no ethics, I guess, when it comes to sex is essentially what it is if you're raping a child or anyone else. It's even more cruel when it's a child. But not that it even needs to be compared. To rape somebody is just like one of the worst things you can do. But there's a lot of people who do it in this world. And again, a lot of these people who do this were raped as children themselves, and it's a vicious cycle. And you start to look at who a lot of the other people are. They're really religious people because they live in this denial, and then they do things in the dark that they shouldn't do. But for Chris Cuomo to look into the camera and, because again, he was almost making the bridge there between QAnon wackos and then people who are putting out ideas like a sexual predator might use the Equality Act. Again, you know what? In this new world that they're creating, I could just throw a wig on right now. There's some woman I'm attracted to, looks like nobody else is in the bathroom. I'm a rapist. And I'm not saying I'm really a rapist, you guys. Some asshole will take that clip and put that out there. But, just some guy that thinks like this. I got my wig on. I shaved myself today, clean shaven. I put my lipstick on, but really I'm just there to see if I can get that one opportunity with that one woman. And again, there's all sorts of guys that just do creepy stuff. Just go in and fill up a woman real quick. Just force themselves on them real quick. You don't think this stuff's going to happen in a world where this is already happening? This just opens the floodgates for people like this. And it's not to say that every transgender I'm not saying, if somebody wants to be transgender, which to me is really bizarre, and I don't want to get taken down for hate speech, but to me it's just such a bizarre thing for it to be pushed in the mainstream, because I don't think many people, I didn't know anyone ever growing up, any guys or girls I was growing up who was like, you know what, Zach, I feel like I was actually this. But I realize it's becoming common now because the media is talking about it all the time. And again, it's Hermeticism, the first law of Hermeticism. All is mental. That's why the media puts the things in the media every day that they do that get into the minds of the masses, because those become their thoughts and their ideas. So all these children, they see the TV, and all of a sudden transgender is this big popular topic. Celebrities that they look up to, they're coming out as transgender. Celebrities are raising their children, encouraging them to be transgender. It's like the coolest thing. The biggest movie stars, the biggest sports stars, they're all into it. But now it's like, okay, so now they're making this a thing, and now in the news, they're making it seem like you're crazy. You believe in crazy myths if you think that there might be people who actually use these new laws to benefit the feelings of transgender people. And I guess the reason I got onto that little spiel about transgender is I realized there's probably some transgender people. I just talked to Sweet Lady about it over dinner, and I said, okay, you're going to the bathroom in the mall, and a big 6'4" man who identifies as a woman comes in right behind you. I said, do you feel comfortable? Does that make you feel comfortable? And she thought about it for a second. She's like, well, if they were really transgender, I guess I wouldn't care because they'd probably be into guys or something else. I said, well, you can't make that assumption. But she's like, but yeah, I guess people could do something with that. I was like, yeah, exactly. People could definitely do something with that. And then she thought about some more. She's like, well, if they made the law that, I think I just wouldn't use the bathroom out in public anymore. And I thought, you know what? If they do this, I bet you way less people are going to use bathrooms in public, especially women. And maybe it's a good time to become a janitor if you're looking for a job, because maybe the bathrooms will be just a quick in and out in the new Equality Act world. But yeah, come on. Guys, on the other hand, are like, Man, some women want to come in my bathroom, I'm all for it. But that's the difference between men and women. Oh, man. Anyway, what makes me sad about this world is, I did the video on the airstrike in Syria and, how our government is manipulated and so are the other governments of the world, and how all this stuff is ritual and who's behind it, the Jesuit order. This is knowledge that the whole world needs to know to see through what's really going on in this world. And what makes me sad is I know if I had not done that video last night and I would have done a live stream on Lady Gaga's dogs, I know that video would probably have at least 3 times as many views right now, way more comments, way more interaction. And that's also the thing that just makes me think, like, is it even worth it to even try to get out truth and knowledge, man? This world is so far gone. They care more about Lady Gaga's dogs than the fact that supposedly we just dropped, some missiles all over Syria again. How many people died in that? How many, what's the thing? What's the term they use? Casualty of war, but that's not what the term, what is it? It starts with a C. Collateral damage. Oh, it's just collateral damage, those lives lost. But again, for decades, just spending all this money on weaponry, bombing brown people, blamed for things that they never did. As we destabilize their region, as we bring their opium back to our country, all of a sudden we have a heroin epidemic. People can't put two and two together. Remember, the Taliban was keeping heroin and opium out of Afghanistan. The Taliban, there might be a bunch of things wrong with them like they say in the news, but one of their things was keeping the drug production down that destroys lives, because they saw, man, if there's anything we can actually do, let's keep this stuff out of our nation and our people's hands, because it is destroying lives. What's the U.S. military do? Goes over there, blows up the mountains, mines the resources, sends them back, makes smartphones, and gets that opium production popping. And where's it all coming back to? The U.S., and all of a sudden we have a heroin epidemic, and people can't figure it out. But, yeah, nobody cares about that stuff. They care about tabloid news. Man, Kobe Bryant's dead. They don't care about all year they're losing their rights and liberties and the biggest psychological operations being waged against them as their livelihoods are taken away. All the videos I did on that all year, all the important stuff, exposing, predicting dates correctly with what would come in the news to show people it's an agenda, all that, hardly got any views. No one cared. The biggest views on this channel are the Kobe Bryant death views. And I realize I'm on Gematria Effect Sports right now, but I'm even talking about on GematriaEffectNews, which is my main channel, which is suspended again, about to be deleted for the 20th time by Google. But, yeah, it's just and don't worry out there, people who are thinking I'm going to quit. I'm not, but I'm just talking about how bad things are, man. Just everyone's a fool, and then even those who are supposedly seeking truth, they really just care about the tabloid stuff. It's man, this is a joke. But anyway, Lady Gaga, she was the big news story, right? While this Equality Act's happening, while we're making it so that men who want to dress up as ladies sneak into the women's bathroom for nefarious reasons, while we're making this the law of the land, everybody's distracted with Lady Gaga, who to me has always been a very interesting looking person. I'm not going to make any accusations, but to me, I just find it so interesting that Lady Gaga and her dogs are the big distraction on the day of the Equality Act. Almost like they didn't really want us to pay too much attention to the Equality Act. But look at this, you guys. From the day the news broke, so the story is that it was late Wednesday night that this shooting of her dog walker happened, and they took 2 of her French bulldogs. But then the news broke on February 25th, the day of the Equality Act. So this was the story all day the day after. And from the day the news broke to her upcoming birthday is 31 days. Lady Gaga's 31. Again, for people who are here and might think that's stupid, Houston equals 31. And she performed at the Super Bowl 51 in Houston. And here, let me show you her birthday. Or it's right there, March 28th. Again, every year we're showing... Again, for people who are new here, realize what we do here. We help people destroy the world of futures in sports. Like, for example, this year before the season began, we had the Bucks beating the Chiefs, and we went 13-0 in the NFL playoffs. Just stuff people don't do. And we do this year after year by understanding how the games are rigged. The year that Lady Gaga was the halftime performer, and again, this is why I hate that I deleted my channel, because we can just go back to the video right now and just read all the comments. But the day that Lady Gaga was the halftime performer at Super Bowl 51, on February 5th, Patriots vs. Falcons on 2/5, where the Patriots came back from down 25. If you go back, here, I'll show you right here. I'll put it on the screen. Super Bowl 51 box score. Again, this is the game that Gaga did the halftime show for. Okay. So at halftime, Atlanta was up 21-3. And they scored the first points of the third quarter, and they went up 28-3 right after the halftime show, right? And what's Lady Gaga's birthday? March 28th, right? March 28th. They got up 25 points on 2/5. Falcons, get in the same cipher that Lady Gaga. Here, I'll just show you. In the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. Very simple. Again, Lady Gaga is 31. Like Houston's 31, right? That Super Bowl is in Houston. It was Super Bowl 51, and it was hosted by the Houston Texans, which is 51. Can go on all day with this. Carl Sheffers, who worked that game, ref number 51, he just worked Super Bowl 55 as well, which was the 51st of the modern era. And his first ever game with as a ref was the game where Brady beat the Chiefs exactly 149 months before the Super Bowl 55, where Brady got his 149th career home win in that game. And with regards to Super Bowl 55, it was the 51st Super Bowl of the modern era. Super Bowl 51 was the 47th of the modern era. Again, the modern era has -4 years from the current count. So Super Bowl 55, 51st of the modern era, worked by ref number 51. Brady won both Super Bowls with that ref on the field, and both were synced up with the ref and Brady. And Sarah Thomas, you know, the woman who got all the attention for working Super Bowl 55, the Chiefs were 5-0 with her as a ref. Prior to Super Bowl 55, they fell to 5-1 with her. But anyway, again, Houston's 31, Lady Gaga's 31. This news came 31 days before her birthday. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Shoot. Oh, yeah, I was just going to show you. Falcons is 25. Because, again, that Super Bowl that she was in was on 2/5, like 25. And the Patriots came back from down 25 because they were down 28-3. Like her birthday's 28-3. You know, right after the halftime, they went up like that. Now, this year, in Super Bowl 55, The Weeknd was the halftime performer. I want you to see his birthday. It's February 16th. Weekend birthday. So, 2-16, right? You remember what the score was at halftime before The Weeknd performed? 21-6. 21-6. And if you think this stuff's a joke, go back and watch my live call of the Super Bowl, calling what happens before it happens throughout the whole game. Because again, essentially I do this for a living now. I mean, this stuff is so rigged, and I've been doing it for so long, it's just so transparent. By the way, The Weeknd just turned 31 after the Super Bowl. Brady won it with 31 points again. But anyway, Lady Gaga's the big distraction, 31 days from her birthday. She's going to turn 35 too. Here. The phrase all-seeing eye is 35, right? All-seeing eye is 56. This news story was on the 56th day of the year. Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, that's who we're going to talk about a lot. All the news stories on the 56th day of the year were all clear Jesuit rituals, including the bombing of Syria. Again, the Jesuits operate on behalf of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church gave us the language and the calendar. It's all synced up together. It's all ritual. This is how we can prove it every single day. The historical timeline and the fact that this stuff adds up every day. But notice if you write Catholic, it's 35. The Society of Jesus serves the Catholics. When I first began, I knew this cipher and the alphabetic order. And notice, I is 35. I is 35, right? In the occult teachings, the I is the sun, because the sun gives light to the world, and since we're humans, and this is, God's world that he made for us, we know that our eyes work when the sun's out a lot better than when it's dark. Like when the eyes are closed. The sun's eyes open, the sun's eyes closed. The one-eye symbolism that you always see with the Illuminati, the light cult. And remember, Society of Jesus is 56, light is 56, cult is 56. All of this is related to the Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Abrahamic's 56. When you write out 3, it's 56. 3 Abrahamic religions. God makes light in the 3rd verse of Genesis, Genesis 1:3. If you don't know the Bible, here, Genesis 1:3 NIV. So it starts like this. I'll just read it up from Genesis 1:1, but here's 1:3. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And then Genesis 1:3, and God said, let there be light. And there was light. So again, when you write out 3, it's 56. When you write out Abrahamic, it's 56. The Abrahamic religions are based on the Torah. When you write out light, it's 56. All in the most simple cipher. And all these huge rituals on the 56th day of the year. Remember, the Illuminati, they're the illuminated ones, light. The Illuminati was created May 1st, 1776 by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. So, right before the American Revolution. But anyway, the point is, just the same types of rituals. I was talking about the same 31 ritual with Lady Gaga. Oh, and hold on. Where's that Super Bowl at? I forget what it was. There was, I think maybe the Patriots. Is that what it was? Yeah, that's what it was, you guys. So the Patriots were down 28-3, right? And then after halftime, they scored 31 unanswered points. In Houston, 31, with Lady Gaga, 31 as the halftime performer. That's why year after year we document these rituals. How the games are rigged, how they sync up the halftime performers. They get the right ones who have the number ritual that they use in the game. So, and you see how there were 62 points scored? Watch this. I remember this like it was yesterday because I told people as soon as this game ended that year, I said Brady will be back in the Super Bowl in Minneapolis next year. Watch this. Brady has 62 pass attempts in this game. There it is right there. 62 pass attempts, right? And they ran 31 rushing plays. Hold on. No, that's wrong. What is it again? What is it? I forget what the other part of it is. LeGarrette Blount was the leading rusher in Houston with 31 yards. Funny. But Brady had 62 attempts and there were 62 points scored. And I said, yep, he'll be in the Super Bowl next year. And this is why you got to know the reverse as well. Because things like Minneapolis are 62. So, anyway, this stuff's not an accident. It's the point I'm making. This is how these entertainers' careers are used, that their numbers are used in ritual. Lady Gaga, who I really do wonder about, especially as many, gender benders as there are in Hollywood. Why was she the chosen distraction on the day of the Equality Act? Lady Gaga. Anyway, 56th day of the year. What was stolen? Her French bulldogs. Where are the Jesuits from? They're from Paris, France, right? So her French bulldogs are stolen. French is 54 like Jesuit order. Remember, their logo's the sun. Sun, add up the letters, so simple, 54. Again, just that most simple cipher, the alphabetic order. S is the 19th letter, U's the 21st, N's the 14th, sun 54. Just like French, Jesuit order is 54 and use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology. But look at this. The Jesuit logo has the Templar cross with the IHS and the 3 nails for triclavianism. Again, three nails. Society of Jesus. But the dogs' names were Gustav and Koji, which have the gematria of 18. They're all 18. You see that? And the dog walker's name, Ryan Fisher, his name equals 171, which is the 18th triangular number. And notice how his name is the exact same as John Carroll in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. Again, if you're new here, the point is these number patterns are used in Jesuit rituals a lot. John Carroll is the man who established the first Jesuit university in the nation, Georgetown, when he was 54 years old. And John Carroll's 54 in the most pure cipher, just like Jesuit order. These people do things in operation with cycles of the sun. Again, the Catholics, Sunday, the calendar named after Pope Gregory, the English language credited to the monk Burforth. It's obvious who coded everything out and has us living in their rituals, in their calendar, in their language, in their system. It just couldn't be any more obvious. All roads lead to Rome. Rome controlled people with the Coliseum entertainment, politics, a military, and police. The same thing we have controlling us here today. But I just realized that I forgot to do something. I'm going to pause on the Gematria. We'll come back to Gematria, but let's just take a pause for a minute and watch the story of the dog walker. We're going to talk about Daft Punk again in a moment because, again, I really want to get this Daft Punk example stuck in your head, and I don't want you to ever forget it. That's also why I keep talking about it over and over this week. But have you guys seen the video footage, supposedly, of the dogs being kidnapped in the dog walker shot? Have you seen it yourself? The reason I tell is, did Daft Punk do it, is because this video footage is so poor, so low quality, and caught in a way where you can't even see the dogs at all. It's just such a joke. And it really does look like, Daft Punk with their robotic helmets. It looked like it could have been them that took the dogs. So let's see here. All right, I'm going to play this clip. This is from, this is all what the mainstream news is showing. This is New York Post, but CNN has the same footage. Everyone has the same footage. Fox News, everyone. So ABC, NBC, CBS, everyone's got this same clip. But here, let's put it on and watch. If you have not seen this yet, just watch. It's just so pathetic. Here, I'll make it bigger. Okay, here we go. I'm actually going to start it over just so you can see it again in case it caught you by it. But this person walking along through here, through this open patch behind the white picket fence, as they walk through, you can see that their arms are kind of sticking out like they're apparently walking two dogs, but you can't even see any dogs. And then these guys are going to come up and I don't know what that is. It's like a white Hyundai or something, but here we go. The person's walking along. You can't make out anything. Looks like they could even be part of Daft Punk. Comes some more people. And just stuff like that too. Just like how come on. This camera can't pick up anything video quality, but did you just hear how loud the punch effect sounded? This is like watching TV, right? Where they add in the sound effects for the effect. No punch, no matter how hard the person hit, would not be picked. It's just a joke, man. And for anyone who's saying that was the gunshot, okay, it didn't sound like a gunshot either. And the sound effect, if you couldn't pick it up as well as I did, it's coming right as he's swinging at the person. So, they're trying to make the sound of him making contact with the other person, which sounded completely ridiculous. But here we go. And the camera goes black for the shot. And the other thing is, sorry, when I move my microphone, I can't see the screen, but the other thing is just how this guy's just screaming like this too, right? And this is the big news story on the day of the whole transgender thing, and a man just screaming nonstop like a woman. Come on, man. That's not how men are supposed to react to any type of situation, but that's what they're doing with society, emasculating people. No. And he's conveniently behind the white picket fence, screaming out like a girl, "I've been shot! I've been shot!" This is as bad as Lester Holt coming on and saying the flu's down 98%. This is as bad as the towers coming down in perfect demolition while Uncle Numbnuts is the president after it came down to the state where his brother was the 43rd governor and he becomes the 43rd president. And don't even mention that in Gematria, Florida equals 43, where his brother was, and his daddy was the 43rd vice president. But this country just been such a joke, man. It just gets a bigger joke every day.
Help me! Help me! I'm bleeding out of my lung. I'm bleeding out. My chest.
Okay, come on, man. Come on, you guys. Are they really do treat us like we're a nation of retards? I got to admit, I haven't watched this with audio. This is my first reaction to watching the audio. I'm bleeding out of my lungs. You wouldn't be able to talk, man. You wouldn't be able to say a word, let alone scream like a girl. I'm bleeding out of my lungs. Man, they really, you guys, retarded means stunted. It doesn't even describe where we're at. We need a new word.
He shot me in my right heart. Oh my god. Help me. They stole, they stole two dogs. I'm bleeding out. Oh my god.
I'm bleeding out. Oh my god.
Please help me. Oh god.
Okay, so there it is. The dog's behind the fence. You can't see any dogs in the whole video. Everything's so blurry you can't make out anything. You can't even tell what kind of car it is. And then, of course, it's real because the police came at the end with the sirens. It's all it takes to convince the American people. But yeah, I mean, you guys, this is just what I mean with how embarrassing the times we are that we live in. My neighbors have these Ring doorbells, and they've showed me what it looks like, and I'm just blown away at like capturing everything in pretty high quality. I could definitely see any. I definitely recognize any neighbor walking down the street on these people's Ring doorbell cameras. I imagine Lady Gaga, her dogs are getting walked in a pretty nice neighborhood area. I imagine a lot of those people have pretty high tech security. You know, pretty clear cameras, probably in color. For example, I mean, for $300, you can go into Costco right now, and you can get color night vision high def cameras, like 5 of them to put up on your house. You could have night HD vision that look better than that for $300. So you mean to tell me in Lady Gaga's neighborhood, people don't have security to get anything better than that? That's the footage they got to put out for the American people to figure out who did this crime to get her $500,000 reward. Again, the fact that America watches the news and thinks it's credible and doesn't see that it makes fun of them every day, this just shows you they are in a coma. A coma. And again, this is the biggest news story, man. This is what people care about. Who cares that Syria got bombed? Lady Gaga's French bulldogs were taken. Did you hear about the Equality Act and how anybody can use the bathroom? What are you talking about, man? They got to find Lady Gaga's bulldogs. You know. But yeah, again, the French bulldogs, the Jesuits from France, the Jesuit rituals, the dog's names just like IHS, the walker's name 171, the 18th triangular number, his name practically like the guy who built the first Jesuit university in the nation. And the other thing about Lady Gaga is her name is 158. 158, right? Like 15/8, like the day the Jesuits were born in Paris, France. 15/8. Again, remember, all this is synced up with her 35th birthday. Catholic eye. All-seeing eye. Oh. And I got to tell you something else that I almost forgot. But I should point out that on February 24th, the day this supposedly happened, because they're saying it happened Wednesday night, even though the news broke on Thursday, that date was February 24th, 224, the Society of Jesus 224, right? Jesuit 84, the Divisors of 84 add up to 224. And then it was the 55th day of the year. Dog has the Gematria 55, as does God. And the other big story on this day was that the Federal Reserve, it's like processing for payments went down on the 55th day of the year. In God we trust on the money. God 55, numerology 55. Certain people worshiping the dog star, Sirius. I don't know enough about astrology to know if there was anything going on with Sirius February 24th that night. You know, that star is always super bright in the sky. So, might have been something with the dog star that I don't understand. I'm not an astrology expert, and I'm not a numerology expert either, but I am very good at seeing how the Kabbalah operates and figuring that out. That's what I am good at. So, it's because I had a lot of dedication to figure this out after 9/11. I knew it was all number games, and I just had to know why. And shout out to Rambo, because here's more proof of what he just talked about on Wednesday night. They put out this story on Thursday, right? On Wednesday, Rambo again was talking about how Thursday is Zeus, is Jupiter, how these things are related. Jupiter's known for having the lightning bolt. Or did I just say that? Zeus is known for having the lightning bolt. Jupiter's known for being the electrical planet. And notice for her photo with her picture of her bulldogs before they're kidnapped, she just happens to be holding up a pink jacket with a lightning bolt on the elbow, right? And this story came out on Thursday, and Rambo the night before just talked about Thursday, lightning, Jupiter, Zeus. Again, Thursday is the day of the week named after the planet Jupiter. If you didn't realize that the 7 days of the week are named after the 7 classical planets, look that up. And for the person who's a know-it-all who's like, no, because the sun and moon aren't a planet. Yeah, they are. They're classical planets. That's the way they're planets. The classical planets are the 7 things in the night sky that move around. And I just hate how you live in a world where there's always some know-it-all dummy. Like if I was in a room with 300 people and some troll asshole was out there, he'd be like, that's not a planet. And he'd be like, classical planets. Look it up, moron. Stop blurting out your nonsense. But anyway, with regards to this all being synced up with her 35th birthday, notice this. Thursday in the most pure cipher is 35, right? Thursday's 35, just like Catholic. So, oh. Actually, I have it down in the notes. I'll just read it to you this way. So there is that too. Thursday, the lightning bolt synced up with the 35th birthday upcoming. And, her dog's names, again, since there's 4 base ciphers, alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules of numerology. Gustav's name is also 36. IHS is also 36. Jupiter is also 36. IHS is also 45 in the base ciphers, like Koji, the other dog, like Jupiter. So maybe there's some alignment with Jupiter and the dog star. I need to start figuring this stuff out better. I need to get that Stellarium program is what I need to do. Yeah, I think when we figure that out, man, we're going to take it to a whole nother level. But, what was I going to type in again? Oh, yeah, I was just going to show you how all the things line up. So, IHS, again, it's 18 forwards and backwards, 36 45, and then her dog's names are Gustav, which has the 36. It also has the 72, like Jesuit order. Oh, you know what else? It has 90. Jupiter's also 90. Huh, okay, so it's got a double connection to Jupiter. And then Koji got the 18 like IHS, but also the 45 like IHS and Jupiter. And Ritual. So, I mean, could it be any more clear? If you missed Rambo's TFR part, I'd go back and watch the first hour and a half of TFR this Wednesday. I thought it was a really good episode. If you have time, watch the whole thing. But I thought the show was better than normal this week. And I thought Rambo really killed it this week, too. Okay. But yeah, the disturbing video where you can't see anything. You can't even see him walking the dogs, even though his arms are out. I mean, his arms are out, but behind the picket fence, and it all looks like a really bad act. Over the top screaming. I'm bleeding out through my lungs, something that would be impossible because you wouldn't be able to make air to make sound. If you've even had broken ribs before, you can hardly talk because of just the pressure and the pain. I mean, they really do make news for people who were born yesterday, and that's why I don't get it. It's like, how does everyone fall for this? It's obvious it's some kind of magic mind control, man. I think some of us are immune to the TV. That really could be it, too. Some of us just might have something going on in our brain that just makes us immune to the mind control of the TV because everybody else just lets it think for them. But Lady Gaga, she's got the 15/8 in the name, like the Jesuit birthday again. And remember, last year on Donald Trump's birthday, his brother died. Donald Trump, the Jesuit puppet, his brother, dead on the big Jesuit birthday. Notice that date has 72 numerology, 8 plus 15 plus 15 plus 34, 72, Jesuit order 72, like we were just saying with the dog. Gustav got that 72. And Yeah, so again, I mean, you cannot tell. You cannot tell. Let's just watch it one more time. Let's watch it one more time. Not all the way through, though. Just the guy walking up and the dog. And then we'll get to the Daft Punk part again because they were big in the news to start the week and Lady Gaga was big to finish. So apparently the dogs are there. See, you can see it through that even that grainy image. He's moving like he's gonna slug him, and then there's just that big sound effect, like a Three Stooges type of smack over the head sound effect. You know, like a wet sack. It's just this is such a joke production, and this is all it takes to captivate the minds of the masses. They don't even care that we supposedly just bombed a nation. Well, it's like, well, we're Team America World Police, man. Fuck yeah. What about Lady Gaga's dogs? Okay, so there's your Equality Act in action. And here, before I go any further, let me just weigh in with the let me check in with the chat real quick. Let me check in with the chat. What do you guys think about that video? Or am I tripping? Is that video legit? Does that look like something happened there? Exactly. Gavin says, isn't it crazy that you can't even hear the dogs barking? Exactly what would be going on. You'd hear the dogs barking all over because dogs would react to the violence. I mean, if you've ever, have you ever had a, have you ever dated a woman and she has a dog and you're like new in the house and maybe you get, like you're not even being threatening, but you like get excited and you like, or talk about, so you could tell like maybe you alert the dog and the dog's just checking in, make sure everything's cool. You know, the dog's protecting its owner. Even the dog walker they would have loyalty to. Absolutely the dogs would be barking if that was going on. Yeah, exactly. No dog barking. And I wasn't even making that point, was I? And that's like one of the most obvious things there. Just though this is why I've been doing this for so long, you guys, because even before I knew the numbers, I just knew the news was a joke. It's always been a joke, you guys. If you never paid attention to the news like most people don't, it's not like things are changing. It's just been a joke. If you think about it, this is really no worse than 9/11. 9/11 was this big of a joke. You know? Coronavirus is a huge joke. And the video might get taken down for violating the World Health Organization's policies about not saying anything related to jokes with coronavirus, and they have the right because they did the Event 201 simulation where they even simulated about how to deal with disinformation on the internet in the time of a pandemic. You know, only their information's correct. The flu's gone pretty much 98% down. Could come back next year's the forecast, maybe. Might return next year. Took its first year off in the entirety of humanity, but next year it might come back. Just a big coincidence. But again, it's always been a joke. That's why it's been maddening to be awake from the time I'm just barely 18 with 9/11 and just seeing how nobody else can see through the obvious. You know? And we're treated like we're crazy, you know? That's why you know what I'd like to think that the next 7.5 years of shows will be, if that'll even happen. Who knows if we'll even be here in the 7.5 years. But I wish I could get my sister to co-host with me just to be the other side, because she's like a coincidence theorist, mainstream robot. I think it would actually be fun to have me and her do a show and just watch both of us react. But see, she can't handle it. I could do it and handle it. She couldn't. You know, her ears just get plugged. If anybody disagrees with her, she's so mad she can't handle it. She has to leave the room. You have to leave her house. Just no tolerance for a different thought than hers. And hers is, if it's on the TV, it's real. And anybody questioning what's real on the TV is a crazy person. Like, my sister literally was lobbying my mom to try and see if she could figure out a way to put me in the loony bin the first few years that I was teaching this work. As I was proving my point day after day, my sister was making the case that I'd become mentally ill. Oh, my God. And I still remember my sister was so afraid after 9/11. So afraid. She didn't want to go to sports stadiums anymore. She thought she'd get killed there. gas masks she bought. She was carrying her gas mask with her everywhere, telling me that I was a fool for not having a gas mask, just living in so much fear. And I was telling her, Jen, I don't know if bad things are coming or not, but it's not like there's boogeymen out there. It's our own government. But I wasn't tripping either, so she never learned, man. Okay, so again, it looks like it could be Daft Punk in the video. Maybe it was. I mean, that could be part of the joke. They might have really got Daft Punk, the two guys, to drive up in the white Hyundai and, make it look like they took somebody's dogs, even though they don't bark and you can't see them. But Daft Punk with the Gematria of 93 started their group in 93. If you've seen the epilogue video they put out, it's in tribute to the song music video Get Lucky. And in Get Lucky, it's the people dancing in front of the moon, the band playing in front of the sun. In epilogue, the man in gold, which represents the sun in alchemy, blows up the man in silver, which represents the moon in alchemy. And when I saw this, when I watched the video, I said, oh my God. I said, there's a lunar eclipse coming up. This is something about the lunar eclipse. Let me see how many days away that is from the music video. And it was just like that. I said, look at that, man. It's May 26th, and it's 93 days after the music video by Daft Punk with this sun-moon symbolism. It's 93 days after it came out. Their name is 93. They started in 93. The whole music video is about the moon and the sun. And then the sun man walks off into the sun after he blows up the moon man. And again, it's trippy that it's in tribute to the song Get Lucky because the band plays from the sun. The people dance in front of the moon. Like the people are dancing to the music of the sun cult, which is the illuminated ones, which is the symbol from the music video. The eye in the pyramid from the dollar bill, gold and silver, money. All of this is right here. They broke up after 28 years. Silver traded at $28 that day. It's the 28-day month, February, that they broke up in, and the oldest member, his birthday is 2/8, February 8th. He just turned 47, like time, France are 47. Around the World, that song came out on April 7th, their breakout song, 4/7. Again, Daft Punk, Around the World. Song came out 4/7, right? The word time has gematria 47, and in Jewish gematria it's 144, and in the song Around the World they say around the world 144 times. Sun cult, earth, sun, around the world. I mean, this isn't hard to understand. But the song that came out on 4/7, where they say it 144 times, where for 7 straight years, well, I think I learned about Jewish gematria after about a year into the study, so I've probably been talking about Jewish gematria for 6.5 years now. A long time. And I've been talking about this 47, 144 thing in different rituals with time, throughout time. So again, this is nothing new. If you've read my books, you know all about this. Again, the tropics of the earth are 47 degrees apart. There's 1,440 minutes in a day. Square root of 144 is 12. 12 months, 12 hours in the morning, the evening. Again, these numbers are specific to time. And again, who gave us the language in the calendar that synced up with the sun? The Jesuits, who put their fingerprints all over the new Daft Punk music video. And this first song is 7 minutes and 9 seconds in length. 709, like Society of Jesus, Knights Templar, and Christianity are 79, and they signed with Virgin Records, 79. But, hold on. I can't take that call. But it was buzzing and annoying me. Okay, so anyway, Daft Punk just did this huge time ritual with the upcoming lunar eclipse. While there's all this funny business going on with money and markets and crypto and runs on silver. Again, all this stuff is symbolic, you guys. The Illuminati, the illuminated ones, controlling governments, media, entertainment, the things that control the mind's eye of the masses, doing it in a way that is just so full of mockery and symbolism that they expect people not to see, and for the most part they don't. And that's why people like Manly P. Hall, wrote their books and explained, like, if people are blind to symbols, they don't really know what's going on in this world. It's all in front of their face, but they don't get it. Manly P. Hall, thanks to his book, that's where I learned about gematria. And again, just on the dollar bill, the all-seeing eye inside the pyramid, just like how they're doing here in the video. Gold, silver, money, the moon blows up. There's 2 different ways to interpret that. It's like one, silver blows up and its price goes crazy. Or is it like something about just like destroying the money? This is in tribute to the song Get Lucky, and that song begins with the lyrics, "It's like the legend of the phoenix, which rises from the ashes, like how Silverman in the video turns to ashes." And again, the Get Ready for a One World Currency cover from The Economist from 1988, 33 years ago, with the phoenix on the cover. Came out on 9/1 because Phoenix is 91. Phoenix represents order out of chaos, destroying something, bringing something new out of it. But remember, just for more tributes, there's a lot of things about this, but in the video, it shows the timer on his back tick down to 56 seconds. That number, 56. And they won the 56th Grammys for Best Album. They won a lot of awards at the 56th Grammys, but they won Best Album, and the hit song was Get Lucky. Again, the Jesuits. So, and then he walks off into the sun, which literally looks like an all-seeing eye, right? The way it is. Looks like the eye, the way they have the sun in the video. And again, all-seeing eye, 56. Eye, 35. Catholic, 35. You know, the eye is the sun. Their logo, the sun. And again, this group's from Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits. Daft Punk is from Paris, France. 56, like Society of Jesus. And yeah, there's even more to it. Again, I'm not going to redo everything, but there's just certain things that I really want you to remember, because I think this is a powerful example to show people. I mean, how can people not grasp this? And their album with The Weeknd that begins with Starboy and ends with I Feel It Coming. The Weeknd does the first and last songs. Starboy equals 28, like how they broke up after 28 years in the month, again with 28 days, when the oldest member is born on February 8th, 28, and then he turned 47 this year, like how their first hit song came out on 4/7, and Time in France are 47. But from when that album came out to when they quit was 54 months and 1 day later, so pretty damn close to exactly 54 months, and again, Sun in Jesuit order, 54. Tiger Woods, 54 forwards backwards, the big news story on the 54th day of the year, on his 56th day of his age. Again, just the same old patterns. But, and again, all roads lead to Rome. Gold and silver, that's on the Vatican flag and the keys. The keys are gold and silver. Who controls the money? You ever think about how in this nation, like churches don't have to pay taxes, governments collect taxes? If you can't get them in the church, you know, get them with the tax or get them with both, double up. That's really what they're doing with most of us. But again, that Economist cover, January 9th, 88, 33 years before 2021. Bitcoin hits its record high, 33 by the numbers at the beginning of the year. The day it did, January 2nd, we were able to predict it would be worth between 45 and 50K by Valentine's Day, which was dead on. It was worth 48K. But again, all this stuff is connected, you guys. Bitcoin is Jesuit coin. The Economist is a Jesuit publication. The Economist in the most pure cipher. The Economist is 56. Got that 56, just like Society of Jesus. You know. Just like all-seeing eye, like what's on the money. And look what's on the top of that phoenix. You got the fleur-de-lis, the Catholic symbol. I mean, could it be any more obvious, you guys? And again, it's like the legend of the phoenix. The people playing in front of the sun, the people dancing in front of the moon. Gold and silver. Gold, sun, silver, moon. Alchemy. So they're foreshadowing that we already know this, that big things have been on the horizon. We've been saying this is going to be a really curious moment in time. It's been more than curious. And yeah, if we don't stop the agendas that are being waged against us, it's just going to make the quality of life worse for all. You know how I was just talking about 79 with Daft Punk's first song? Their first song that's 709 in length, Around the World. 709 in numerology, 0 in the middle of a number doesn't mean anything, so it's like 79. Society of Jesus, 79. They have the Templar cross in their logo. The Knights Templar, the Society of Jesus, both serve the Catholic Church. They're both 79, like Christianity, like Virgin. And isn't that an interesting concept? The whole Christianity and Virgin thing. Here's what's wrong with this world. you know how there's like so many unsolved murders of like young women, and just like a lot of times you'll hear the story on the news like it's the last girl that you would have ever expected for something like this to happen to, because she wasn't really into the boys yet. She was just so, just like clean cut and essentially square, but just like, sweet and innocent. But then somehow someone's like, yeah, she didn't come home from school. And it was really strange because, it's just not like her to be out or disappear. And, a week later, they got the story about how her body's found and stuff. I started to think more about this just in terms of how ritualistic the people are that rule over us, that rule from the shadows and mock us every day. And again, if you guys are new here, the entire medical and hospital system is controlled by essentially the Jesuits and the Knights Templar, Skull and Bones out of Yale, which has so much influence over the nation's hospitals, including the Johns Hopkins, who's giving us all the numbers on the pandemic and who simulated it at Event 201. But if you look into the history of hospitals, you will see that there's a major connection to Yale and Skull and Bones, which is a Knights Templar related organization. And again, the Jesuits and the Templars are pretty much the same thing. But I was just thinking about, like, what if, like, literally, like, young virgins are being targeted, and who'd be aware of this knowledge? Doctors, right? Doctors would know for sure, like, if a girl's 16 or 17 and a virgin. Well, likely, just because they have the conversation and maybe they do. I don't know when all that gynecology checkup stuff starts, honestly, but I'm just thinking of who would have that information. And I'm telling you, something very sick is going on with hospitals and doctors and this network. This is how you could target certain people. Like if you need a virgin for a ritual, and that's these people believe in all this witchcraft. How many times have they shown us in the movie how you got to get the virgin on the night of the full moon? But I just started to think about this, and like even the gematria in it, because remember, the word murder is also 79 like virgin. Agatha Christie's stories about killing by the numbers is called the ABC murders. ABC murders has that 56 and 79, just like Society of Jesus, just like murder is 79. And again, the movie poster, Murder by Numbers, we usually talk about the 3 and 8 coded into the poster because murder is 38 and 83, but in the most simple cipher, it's 79, and the orange numbers around it, again, are 79. And I'm just thinking about, okay, these people have all these beliefs, all these rituals, all this stuff that you got to do for their occult magic. What if that's really going on, you guys? What if, like, the wrong girl reveals to the wrong... Or, now that I think about it, I guess they wouldn't have to reveal to their doctor. All this shit's, like, going in medical files and notes. What if there, like, really is some creep that's in a hospital in a network and he's trying to figure out which girl's in the right age or the virgin that they can target for their murder ritual that year? I don't think this stuff is too far off, you guys. I think this is something like what's going on, man. I noticed I didn't like the doctor's office when I was a kid, too. My doctor was a real creep. And again, I just noticed that they seemed like they were full of shit. I noticed if I took their medicine, I didn't get healthier any faster. I'd always tell my mom, I was like, what's even the point of going there? Medicine doesn't do nothing. I'm just going to rest up and get better. You actually have a problem. You go in there, they can't even figure it out. Oh, I don't know. Want to try this drug? We just got this one shipped in from Pfizer. No, thank you. Again, it's just like a world for... My mom's word would be dingbats. It's a world for dingbats. But, yeah, lucky mama didn't raise no dingbat. But anyway, about this whole 79 thing, did you see the testimony of Rachel Levine yesterday? Rachel Levine, one of these people whose birthday I just can't find. You know who Rachel Levine is, right? Formerly Richard Levine, now Rachel Levine. Recently became transgender. Now they're the, what's their position again? Biden selects transgender doctor Rachel Levine, formerly Richard Levine. And that's the other thing that bothers me, is people are flagging videos for what they call dead naming. In transgender culture, it's very cruel to mention the former name. It's like, what? So what, your life didn't matter before? You didn't have just all part of this silly world that we're living in, where if you don't conform to it, there's something wrong with you. You better get on some meds. Here, Pfizer's got a med for that, too. It's like they want us all just numb and drooling out of our mouth, waiting for the next $600 check to come in the mail. But, Transgender. Joe Biden. Equality Act, right? And as we'll get to, Marie Newman. Marie Newman, the big star so far. Marie Newman, the big star of the Transgender Equality Act. You see how Marie Newman's 53 and 64? You know who she is, right? She's the big star. She fought that new CIA conspiracy theorist plant, Marjorie, who takes on the students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. But transgender, Marie Newman. Transgender, Marie Newman. You see it? 5364. See how nice it is? How it doesn't even change? You guys heard that story, right? About how Marjorie Taylor Greene put up the anti-transgender message the day of the Equality Act across from Marie Newman's door. Marie Newman, whose child apparently is transgender, because politicians, they're always so honest. They wouldn't do anything for a buck. But, yeah, you know, America, don't even worry about us bombing brown people overseas. Lady Gaga's dogs are missing and the Equality Act's here. And, you know, if you're sweating the thought of your little girl being in a bathroom where a man might go in there with ill intentions because of the Equality Act to do something to your daughter, well, don't even worry about that, because Chris Cuomo said that's essentially like being in QAnon, is having thoughts like that. Those are wacko, kooky ideas that anybody would do that in a society full of pedophiles and rapists and group homes full of raped and abused children. These things don't happen anywhere, apparently. They're all just right there with the QAnon conspiracy theories. Okay, and again, just to remind people about this going down on the 56th day of the year, the Society of Jesus is pretty much the entity behind the Church of Satan. And they are. They control the world of mainstream religion, and Church of Satan is becoming more and more mainstream. But again, the symbol for the Church of Satan is the Baphomet, which is male and female. So the Equality Act, which opens the door for anybody to use. And you know what? I just got to tell a real story, too, because this is another real story. Back in the 2000s in Seattle, I worked at a teen homeless shelter. And it was only me and Omari. We were the only two guys who worked there, besides Sean, who worked the overnight shift. Everybody else who worked there was a woman, actually. Omari, Sean, they were both black males, and then there was myself. We were the only three guys that worked there. And then we were told they were hiring another man. Another man was coming on, and his name was Connor. So we just couldn't wait to meet Connor. Wow, another guy's going to work here. Let's see what this Connor's all about. Omari, Sean, and I all get along. And so Connor comes in for work, and, you know, eyebrows kind of up about Connor. It's like, that's a dude? Oh, it turns out Connor is a woman who recently just started taking testosterone pills and identifies as a man. And the new name is Connor. So what stood out about Connor very quickly was that Connor was screaming. You know, when you're new to work, you're like, normally your full personality doesn't come out, and you're kind of maybe not everybody, but probably most people are a little bit shy, getting to know people. You know, their full character's not coming out. You know, they're probably also going to be on their best behavior because they're new, things that normal people do. Well, Connor was just raging out right away, just started, and just coming in like an authoritarian, yelling at kids. This isn't stuff we do there. Just acting crazy. Just like, why is this new person here just coming in and acting all crazy and thinks we're going to start yelling at the kids and stuff? And so anyway, and then just talking all loud too, and just being inappropriate, like even cussing at the kids. That's not the way we treated the people at the shelter. You know, we didn't yell and scream at them and cuss at them. And I'm thinking, like, I feel like anybody else come in here, they would have already got fired. Well, the next thing you know, the teens that are there, they're reporting, this is like a week after Connor's been at the job, and just acting crazy the whole week. And before, like, we never had to write incident reports. Like, almost every night you'd come in, there'd be an incident report written with Connor and a kid. It's like, these things just rarely happen here. They happen every time Connor's here. And, I mean, Connor was just crazy from day one. But then after like a week, Connor took, teens on an outing, and then the teens were reporting that Connor was, Seattle's hilly. Connor was flying down a residential 25 with big hills that, like, they said some of them, I don't know, I wasn't in the van, but the speeds they said were all different. But like they were saying, like around 50, 70 miles per hour. Probably going like 50 based on the consensus of the story, but they said that Connor was doing their hands like they were on a roller coaster. Okay, like seriously, if you're at work and you're getting reports like this and there's an obvious problem, and now the students are even reporting that you're like flying through a neighborhood, just acting crazy, you'd probably get fired from any job. I know had Sean, Omari, myself, any of the women that worked there, had they done this, we all would have been fired. So nobody liked Connor. Connor was just like this plague that just came right away. And then what Human Resources said is, yeah, we know, but I talked to somebody in Human Resources, and what they said is, firing a transgender person is super dangerous because they can have you up in court and they'll blame it on the transgender thing, and lawyers are sympathetic to it. It might not be like this everywhere, but I'm in Seattle, realize. This is in Seattle, Washington. But I was like, this is like 2008. So this is 13 years ago. So I'm already thinking, like, what laws do we need to pass to give these people more rights? I met one that was absolutely fucking nuts that came in and made the environment just toxic. Nobody wanted to be around Connor. And then their excuse was that they were on testosterone pills, so it made their behavior crazy. It's like, okay. This is what's protected in our society? This is a joke. I'd like to say a lot more, you guys, but you just can't say anything. It just gets taken down for hate speech. And some things really do need to be said, especially when you got Chris Cuomo on the nightly news telling you that there's not going to be any problem with the Equality Act. Your little girl's going to be safe even if 6'6" Joe goes in behind her, who might just have thrown on a wig real quick so he could sneak into the ladies' room. And plus, in the age of all this, too, recording, come on, man. But yeah, Marie Newman, who got harassed by Marjorie Taylor Greene, who made her big debut by harassing the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas students. Anyway, Marie Newman's 56, right? This is on the 56th day of the year, born in 64. Marie Newman, 5364, like transgender. And again, well, it was 47 days from her birthday, which is another thing, but the Equality Act for another 64. And again, it's just like transgender in the time of Joe Biden, Equality Act. 64 spaces on the chessboard, we're losing the match. We're pretty close to checkmate, man. We're pretty close to checkmate. See, that's part of the mockery we're not getting right now either in America. What's going on in Burma, where they overthrew the Jesuit-controlled government in the Jesuit ritual to start February 1st in the first big military ritual of 2021? Again, read my first page, or my first post from New Year's, the opening moments of 2021. I posted on Twitter. I said, watch out for Jesuit, evil, and war, because all those things equal 21. Watch out for some big Jesuit war rituals this year, and the biggest one on 2/1 in Burma or Myanmar, where again the Jesuit-controlled government was overthrown. And how do you know it was Jesuit-controlled? Because it was established on the biggest Jesuit day there is, September 27th, the day they were recognized by Roman history, plus a whole lot more. But again, that whole Captain Tom Jesuit ritual, right after that happened, he was the hero of the Burma campaign. But what Westerners might not be picking, well, we're one of the only countries left that even have any type of gun rights. But what a lot of people aren't picking up on that are watching that story is the way how the military just shoots protesters who have no guns, because their country, they're not allowed to have guns. They have no guns. They have no way to fight back. If you see the video, if you actually look up beyond the mainstream media, Sweet Lady, because Sweet Lady's from there, and all of her friends that she's friends with, they're like uploading all footage and stuff. People are like trying to fight back against the military with a stick and a big, band, like a slingshot. They're trying to like shoot rocks in a slingshot at military with guns. And again, you guys, Joe Biden announcing his assault weapons ban by the numbers. Here, we just got to do that example too one more time, because that's one that everyone should be able to get. Everyone should be able to get that one. Okay, so Joe Biden called for an assault weapons ban on the anniversary of the Parkland, Florida shooting. Remember, Parkland, Florida is 14/2, like Valentine's Day, 142. It's also 263, the 56th prime, like Sandy Hook shooting happened 56 years after it was established in 1956. But Parkland alone is 139, like gun control. And notice how assault weapons ban and Second Amendment are about 256. Here's where the numbers 139 and 256 come together. These are the numbers that matter right here. On September 13th, 13/9, Tupac Shakur's 139. He was killed from gun violence on that day in 1996. But 13/9, like 139, like gun control, like Parkland, where Biden just called for it from on the anniversary of the shooting, on the 3-year anniversary. Again, September 13th, 1994 was the day it passed. And that is the 256th day of the year. You see that? So 13/9 for gun control, 139, and then the 256th day of the year for the assault weapons ban, which equals 256. This is how the government operates, day after day, infringing on the Second Amendment, 256. And again, when I made that video the other week when that was brand new news, I pointed out how they've coded 139 for gun control just so many times. And here I just want to scroll back over my Twitter a little bit. I don't think it was too many posts back, but I meant to cover this in a story. I didn't put it on GematriaEffectNews, but I just put it on my Twitter. And I know it's not too far back here. Again, if you're on my Twitter, it's for all of you who enjoyed the interview I did with the anarchist. His channel got deleted right after he did it. If you guys would go back and subscribe him, he lost all of his subscribers. It's the consequence of sharing the Gematria work. But wow. Oh, here it is. So Merrick Garland, he's going to become the Attorney General for Biden. Garland says DOJ would advance Biden's pro-gun control policies. And you just see how they have to put the word advance. And again, advance, that's not a good sign for us. That's not what we want, to lose more of our rights. And this is what I hate about my Twitter. It says I have over 10,000 people, 75 people like this, and 26 shared it. That's all they care about, how they're moving forward with this agenda. But again, in Gematria, just look. Advance. 139, right? 139. Gun control. Whoops. Got an extra letter in there. Gun control, 139, right? Parkland, 139. Joe Biden's big year was 94, the year of the last assault weapons ban on 13/9. You don't see how this all comes together so perfectly. You want to know what it's going to look like in America in the future? Just take a look at Burma now. Be throwing rocks back at people who will shoot you. Mind-controlled zombies from a young age, taught to obey orders of tyrants, just like how they do here in every country, America and every other country. In the freest nation, they brainwash you from the time you're a child so that you'll sign up to be part of their New World Order mercenary force, so you can fight for your nation where you're so free and safe. Okay. Yeah, so again, it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And, we have another big 57 vaccine ritual. Like I told you at the beginning of the year, watch out for May 7th, 2020. 5/7, I said we're going to see big vaccine news with Moderna. Sure enough, Moderna's stock price shot up that day. We said the Moderna stock's probably going to blow up. Well, before that, it did. But we said 5/7 will be the date because vaccine's 57. Bill Gates is 57. He backs it. This is how these people operate. Sure enough, dead on. And since then, there's been several other vaccine and 57 rituals. But here we are on the 57th day of the year. And now FDA panel recommends J&J vaccine. That's Johnson & Johnson, who was part of the Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation. Since this comes on the 57th day of the year, I'm kind of thinking, since they spell their name with the ampersand, and in the most Pierce cipher, their name's 64, I'm kind of thinking next Friday is the day we're going to hear about it being available, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The 62nd day of the year would also be possible, which is Wednesday. So next Wednesday or next Friday, I suspect we'll see the headline about how the Johnson & Johnson vaccine's now here. They recommend it for approval on the 57th day of the year because vaccine's 57. And then I'm sure 62nd day, 64th day of the year, either one could work. I guess if they did the 62nd day of the year, the one extra thing I could say about that is coronavirus pandemic is 293, the 62nd prime, and we've seen a bit of that pattern with the vaccines as well. So again, either one of those dates could work. It's just like how we predicted what day the Pope would supposedly get the vaccine, and we had 1 to 2 days that it would happen in the week. It happened on the 56 date numerology. So, and of course, that was one of the dates we were talking about because coronavirus is 56, COVID-19, or COVID vaccine is 56, Society of Jesus is 56, it's the first Jesuit Pope, and Pope's 56. So the reason there were 2 days in that week that could work is because one had 56 date numerology, and I want to say the other was February 5th. Is that right? 7. Or I forget what it was. It wasn't February 5th because that wouldn't have been as close. The days were just days apart. But there was one day that connected to Pope, and then there was another day that had 56 date numerology. So I'm trying to remember what it was. Anyway, but we circled 2 dates, and it hit on one of those 2 dates, right? Just like to start the year, we had 2 dates essentially circled for when they would do their great reset power outage blackout thing that they'd been forecasting. We had January 15th and Valentine's Day. Ended up being Valentine's Day. And for people who don't think that's impressive, again, I mean, those are low odds. Through Valentine's Day was the 45th day of the year. We had 2 dates circled in a big period of time that the Great Reset power outage could happen. And again, this goes back, we were looking at this, again, for people who are new here, if you write out power outage, it's 151. If you write out the Great Reset, which was called by the Jesuit Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum, who has everything to do with coronavirus and climate change and all this, but the Great Reset's 151. Power outage was 151. There's numbers been everywhere lately. Pandemic's 151. But that's why I said, okay, they're forecasting for the start of 2021. January 15th is 15/1, so that could be a date. And when that date passed, I was like, okay, there's got to be another 151 date not far off. And then I realized, I was like, look at that. You see how Valentine's Day has these numbers? 151, 52, 200, and the 74. But the Great Reset is 151, 274, the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. So that's why I was like, wow, that really looks like the day. Plus, then we saw how it was synced up with Klaus Schwab 322 days later. And then we realized it was 142 days after the Public Enemy album released, which shows Arizona, which is the Valentine's state because its birthday is Valentine's Day. But that album, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down, came out 142 days before 14/2 Valentine's Day. While Joe Biden was in Parkland, Florida, saying gun control's coming. Another assault weapons ban. It's a damn shame, man, that people aren't helping spread this knowledge more and millions of people aren't tuned in and checking it out. I don't know how anyone can refute this, man. You just got to be... And not just refute it, but not care about it. Why aren't more people, taking the time to listen and figure it out? And I get frustrated, too, because it's like every 20th video, I'll read one comment. It's like, finally, Zach, you made a video I can share with some people. I'm just like, what was wrong with any of the other videos? Everyone you know must be retarded. And that's part of people's problem right there, too. Oh, I don't share any videos where you use any foul language or derogatory remarks about people. God, what a nation of squares and losers and just people with all the wrong values. Who gives a shit? It's the information that matters, moron. I'm telling you. People walking this planet, this earth, whatever you want to call it, this flat, infinite plane surrounded by ice walls, whatever you want to believe it is. These people walking it are a joke. Here's a riddle for the 56th day of the year. Like I've said many times, there's a thin line between the Catholic Church, the Jesuits, and the Mafia. And on the 56th day of the year, Gambino boss Peter Gotti found dead at his prison cell. Wonder what happened here on the 56th day of the year. Remember, the Jesuits are known for killing people with poisoning. You know, Pete, we're going to give you the special treatment today. Why don't you just sit in here? We're going to bring your meal right to you. What would you like? Would you like some extra dessert today? Okay, we're going to stick the arsenic right in there. 2 hours later, Petey's dead on the floor. Anyway, Peter Gotti, 54 forwards and backwards, just like Tiger Woods, who supposedly broke his legs on the 54th day of the year. Again, that's the big Jesuit number. And this happened on a Thursday, right? And Rambo just really killed it Wednesday. I love Rambo's work, man. I think what he did this past Thursday was one of my favorites. But or not Thursday, but Wednesday, the day before, where he just connected the Catholic Church and Peter, the first bishop of the church, and Jupiter and Zeus, how he brought it all together. Look at what happened the next day. Clearly a Jesuit ritual. Peter Gotti dead on Thursday. Again, Thursday's name for Jupiter, right? And notice how Catholic and Thursday have that 35-46 gematria, like JFK number 35, the first Catholic president, killed at age 46. Now we have Biden, the second Catholic president, number 46, who won the election, 46 weeks after his birthday, 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And then he was confirmed on the Pope's 35th day of his age. And not to mention, he won the White House the first time with Obama after 35 years of being in Washington, D.C. But from his birthday to his death was 133 days. That's a big government number, so he died in a government institution. There's probably something else with that. And somebody else pointed out that he died on the anniversary of another famous gangster, Bugs Moran. I like how the Wikipedia mentions this detail about his 21st birthday, that big Jesuit number, and then the St. Valentine's Day massacre he was a part of. Again, the Catholic holiday. And I think I forgot to measure from his... Oh, no. If you want to come back and read the post, there's some more information here. There's some Bavarian Illuminati connections. And remember, the Bavarian Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But this also stood out. The current leader of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, from his birthday to the day this man died was his 105 days after his birthday, and Mafia's 105. So a mafioso, an Italian. Again, the Jesuits are like the Jesuits might as well be the mafia. They are the mafia. What am I even saying? I mean, this is clearly who the real mafia is. And again, I want to remind you guys about the history of the Jesuits in light of TV shows like The Sopranos, home box office, where one of their biggest stars is the guy who's half Catholic, half Jewish. And I'm talking about Bill Maher. What I hate about this world is even just like pointing something out like that. They could take down the video for hate speech. It's like, what? I can't point out that Bill Maher's half Catholic, half Jewish? But again, the Jesuits, when they were created, half were Catholics and half were Jews who converted to Catholicism. And in The Sopranos and a lot of gangster movies, mafia movies, they always go to the money guy. Who's the money guy that's like behind these mobsters? It's always a Jew, right? That's what they always show in the Hollywood movies. Behind the mafia is a Jew, a money man. And again, I mean, it's not hard to see who runs the world, you guys. It's not hard to see who runs the world at all. It's super clear. This knowledge makes it crystal clear. You got to be incredibly blind, dense, and dumb to deny what we show day after day. And if you missed yesterday's broadcast, every single story was 56. You know, the market even fell 560 points, 560. The gymnastics coach dead. His name 56. Most Pierce cipher. You know, everything else. If you missed the video I did earlier today on the Saudi prince accused by the CIA of ordering or approving the Jamal Khashoggi killing, if you missed that, just, again, monster Jesuit ritual, 56th day of the year attack on Syria, all these things happening at the same time. But if you missed the video, go back and check it out. Again, Jamal Khashoggi's 59 and 76 forwards and backwards. Pope Francis is 59 as well. Just like how the 59th presidential election was just synced up with the Pope. 46 weeks after his birthday, Catholic 46. Biden becomes number 46. But notice it was 76 days from his killing. Khashoggi was killed October 2nd. From his killing to the Pope's birthday. Jamal Khashoggi, 59-76, 76 days before the Pope's birthday. Pope Francis, who's also 59. Again, what are the odds of that? And then Arturo Sosa, it was 41 days from his birthday. Saudi Arabia, 41. They're blamed for the 9/11 attack, which happened on a 41 date numerology. This news about Khashoggi and the Saudi prince comes on the anniversary of the 93 World Trade Center bombing. World Trade Center 9/11, rituals and time, straight mockery. And again, just how those numbers 41 and 76 relate to skull and bones, which gets its symbolism from the Knights Templar, and the Jesuits have the Templar cross. Again, just the history. Bush, born on 7/6, the president when 9/11 happened. His dad, the Skull and Bones member, number 41, when he gave the speech 11 years to the day of 9/11 about a new world order, a world free of terror. This murder happening in Istanbul, Turkey, and in the Levant, synced up with, the prince's 35th birthday. It's just, again, if you missed the video I did on this earlier, I don't want to redo it all over again, but just couldn't be any more clear. Jesuits did it. Jesuits did it. It's so obvious. And sometimes Jesuits did it, just all it means is they just made up the story as a distraction, just another distraction, like the Lady Gaga thing. A lot of the stuff they give us just never even happened. Some people they kill, and then they just give them a fake cause of death. Just whatever they're reporting is misleading. But I'm showing you who's behind the ritual, why it's reported, why it was that date. Again, the people who gave us the language and calendar are the same ones that control the world. Britain, one of their strongholds as they took over the world, that's where that phrase came. The sun never sets on Britain, because Britain had expanded all over the world. The sun cult, always in the light, the illuminated ones. But yeah, Hassan Rouhani, this happened where he was on his 107th day of his age. Military's 107. He's got the exact same birthday as Arturo Sosa. They're both 72 right now. Iran's leader has his militia that he backs attacked in Syria on the 72nd day of the Pope's age, when Syria is 72 in Jesuit order, while, again, the Superior General 72, who has the same birthday as Hassan Rouhani. And again, the Jesuits consider themselves a military order. So I'm not going to redo the whole thing. I just wanted to hit some of those main points. In the U.S., it was the 56th day of the year. In Syria, it was 1 a.m. on the next day when this happened, so a day ahead, just barely. But another big 56 Jesuit ritual. And somebody pointed out something new to me today. People have been asking me to research Stonehenge more for a lot. Or people have been asking me to research Stonehenge a lot more. I could do that. Today somebody said, hey, Zach, did you realize Stonehenge has something called Aubrey holes, and there's 56 of them, and some historians contend that something was removed from those 56 spots to hide it. But that is interesting that the number 56 is there at Stonehenge. Some people say Stonehenge is a complete fraud. Again, I don't know. I've only been here since 1983, but a lot of things in this world are a complete fraud. I'd say most of history is a complete fraud, so it wouldn't surprise me in the least if Stonehenge ended up being a complete fraud. And, yeah, if you missed the work on Tiger Woods, check it out. Rambo has a really awesome post on here in the Rambo's Corner section. But, again, just somehow, in case you missed the Tiger Woods news, he was down in the LA area for the Genesis Invitational, and he was supposedly driving a Genesis car, big SUV, on the 54th day of the year. Tiger Woods, who I've always explained is like the most Jesuit symbol in sports. Hold on, bear with me a minute. I got to check something. I want to see something real quick. 1 second. Yeah, in the new book, I wanted to make sure I talked about Tiger Woods in here. This book right here. I wanted to make sure I talked about Tiger Woods on here. If you go to page 175 in the book, Tiger Woods in 54 is right there on the page. Tiger Woods in 54. Yeah, there's actually a good deal of information here on Tiger Woods. Page 175's got a lot. Page 176, page 177, and also talk about him on page 321. Yeah. So plenty of documentation in the book about Tiger Woods in 54. And what do you know, on the 54th day of the year? And realize everything's like that in my book. Everything that's talked about in this book, like, for example, I talk about Bill Gates, his father, the numbers 94 and 258. This book came out before Bill Gates' father died at age 94 on the 258th day of the year. And again, it's because his name equals 258. Seattle, Washington's 94. Roman Catholic Church is 94. Bill Gates is building Jesuit high schools right now everywhere. He's part of this Jesuit network. Melinda's from the Jesuits, from a Jesuit family. Her birthday is the Jesuit birthday, Melinda Gates. But again, every single word in this book since it came out, you can now put a note next to literally everything in here and just another example that's happened. At least one more. There's some pages where you could add 20 more examples. You know, the 56 thing, I mean, there's at least 20 more examples since the book came out. So, but yeah, look, even the vehicles he's driving, 144.54, like Jesuit order. The Masters week begins on 5-4. They're saying Tiger's going to miss it. You know, a man who's dominated the Masters historically. There's a lot more to it, but you can go back and watch my video on that. But remember, on the same day this happened, the investor, Kathy Woods, put $120 million on the same day as the Tiger Woods news. Kathy Woods made a big investment in Tesla, a company that envisions a world where they have created the best self-driving cars that are even safer than humans. You know what I mean? And the World Economic Forum right now is doing the advertisements about the world where we won't own anything and we'll like it. And they're giving these spills on how in the future they're going to have a lot much greater efficiency. There'll be no more traffic jams because everyone will be just in robotic cars that are moving perfectly. I mean, if you actually think about stuff like that, if they got it right, it's really nice, right? It's really nice. If you think about it, it's like, wow, no more traffic jams, cleaner cars. That sounds great. That sounds like the kind of future I'd like to live in. But the problem with it is this. Imagine that you're someone like me and you have to get in some government vehicle that's just constantly coming by, you know, that works perfectly. You know, you have to enter your credentials. Do you see what could go wrong with something like this if you're like in a targeted society and maybe they also have a control switch that just takes you off the tracks, sends you over the, you know, out here in the Pacific Northwest, one of these bends where you're going around a big cliff, you fly off, that'd probably be the end of you. This type of thing. Again. And that's why people like my dad will say, you know, he's like, that's why you don't stick your neck out in this society. Just go with the flow. There won't be any problems. And that's mostly how people think. But that's also how we've gotten to where we are, where, you know, our livelihoods are being taken away from us and children are depressed and they can't be with their friends because their parents are afraid. And so, but yeah, all this stuff's mockery. Tiger Woods, Kathy Wood. I mean, if you missed the video I did on the beginning of the week, there's a lot more information. But yeah, I just wanted to hit all those things, Truth Seeker. And again, I mean, Rambo's lesson Wednesday night on Thursday, and Zeus and Jupiter and the lightning bolt, it really came together on Thursday in the news. I mean, this is right here from Thursday. Lightning bolts, and then you got the gangster Peter dead. I mean, it's just like, wow. Rambo was dead on with that one. And that's how it is with this work. I mean, I've had plenty of moments like that too in the years too. It's just the synchronicity. You're understanding the symbolism. You're really identifying it, and boom, there's a crystal clear example that just manifests. So, yeah, I think we'll leave it there, True Seeker. I got to do some work for the Patreons tomorrow. Planning on doing a live stream for all the sports fanatics. A lot of people have been asking me to do some more tennis, so we're going to look at the Grand Slams coming up this year because I see a real clear ritual that could take place with the Grand Slams. And, you know, here I want to share a story with you guys. So for years we've educated about rig sports and things like tennis, and many times called out, you know, Novak and other players, you know, winning by the numbers. And the number we've always pointed out with Novak Djokovic, the Joker, who's like the biggest name in tennis right now, is 53. And the most pure cipher, his name's 53. Pretty sure the last Wimbledon he won was 53 days from his birthday. It was something like that. But this year he just won the Australian Open to start the year, and it was the 53rd Australian Open all time. And it's the second time he's won it. 53 is the 16th prime. The only other time he won it was 2016. Now, right before he won the Australian Open, a woman reached out to me. Her name, Her name is just like my niece's name, Grace. Grace. I like that name. And she said, "Hey, Zach, could you do me a favor and look into the 2016 Australian Open? Because my brother used to work for a news agency, and he dropped dead at that tournament, and it was a big surprise to us, and it seemed very suspicious." And so I went back and looked, and I noticed, I said, "What day did your brother die on?" And she told me January 24th, right? January 24th. And that's 24/1, like 241. 241 is the 53rd prime number, you see? And that year, Novak Djokovic won it for the first time. And then 53 is the 16th prime, and he did it in 2016. That's why when you know your numbers, you see how these rituals go together. So, it doesn't look like her brother just dropped dead by accident covering the Australian Open that year on 24/1. It looks like he became part of the ritual for Djokovic. And that's what we document year after year with all these big sports tournaments. This goes on in all the world. People being killed by the numbers for rituals. And it doesn't mean that her brother had signed on the dotted line necessarily. He might have just been in the wrong industry and at the wrong place at the wrong time. And but again, now here we are in the year of the 53rd Australian Open, and Djokovic, of course he wins. That's his number. We've been talking about for years that is Djokovic's number. And if you heard 2 weeks before the Australian Open was played, a woman called in, and I think she asked me what I thought about Nadal winning it based on her decode. And in hindsight, I wish I had just typed in Australian Open, or I wish she didn't mention that it was the 53rd, and I've been busy working on my book and keeping up with the news. But I wish she would have just mentioned that it was the 53rd Australian Open. But I did say to her, even without her saying that, I said, "You better decode Djokovic, because they really code everything for him right now. He's the biggest star in the sport." And if she did, she should have saw that his name was 53 and it was the 53rd tournament, because usually that's as simple as this stuff is. But yeah, it's just sad to think that, there's a woman that even in this community now, and her brother died unexpectedly in his mid-30s while covering the Australian Open in 2016. If I remember right, I think she said he was 36. So he's younger than I am right now. I'm 37. I'm closer to 38 right now than 37. But, yeah, 24/1, that's got to be what's up. And if there's any joker out there saying, "How do you know 241's the 53rd prime?" Because I do this every day for a living, man. And plus, you could check it yourself. Just go to numberempire.com, type in 241, and is it prime? It's 53rd prime, 24/1. The Joker's in town to take the Australian Open in 16. So, it's the kind of world we live in. She's doing the devil horns. I realize that now. Oh, man. Jeff Young, if you're out there. Jeff Young, I think Jeff Young's a great guy. I know a lot of you guys think he's a shill because he was in Megadeth. If you go to his album artwork, he has himself rocking out on the stage doing the devil horns. But if you actually talk to him, he'll say, "Well, back then I didn't know that was what it meant. I just did it because, that's what we did. We're rocking out. We see other people do it." And isn't that how it is? Isn't that exactly why they do the symbols to us? Because then everybody just mimics it and imitates it, and they don't even really know what the symbol means. But and I think it means more than devil horns, but these people are absolutely satanic. What's sad about this picture? I bet you this picture was taken... this picture was probably taken at the same time. It probably was. It was probably taken at the same time they were filming that stupid-ass scene, man. So... what a joke. What a joke we live in. By the way, you guys, just one more lesson on Lady Gaga's name. You see how it's got the 58 and the 158? We talked a lot about the 31 earlier. That's the big one with the ritual. But just notice Freemasonry's got the 58 and 158 as well. Remember, modern Freemasonry was created in the Jesuit stronghold, the City of London, which is the middle area of London. London's divided into 33 neighborhood areas. The middle section's the City of London. Masonry's 33, secrecy's 33, order's 33, England's 33. By the way, the story today about the Crown Prince being, responsible for the Khashoggi death. Remember, when that happened, the year it happened on his 33rd day of being 33 years old. And then the federal government today, which is another Masonic Jesuit headquarters, federal's 33. or today, the day that the feds came out and said that, today has 33 numerology. February 26, 2 plus 26 is 28. And then if you take the year, 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, it's 5 more, so it's 33. Has a life lesson number of 33 today. And again, go back to when Khashoggi supposedly died, 33rd day of the prince being 33 years old. Then the news on the 33 date. Remember, words like people are 33, persons 33. Goes back to Kundalini, about the spiritual ascension up the 33 bones of the human vertebrae. And that word Kundalini's got the 58, like Freemasonry, like secret society. I think I'm going to do some more research on this hand gesture. I want to know more about it. And again, Lady Gaga, who I've always... it's always kind of bothered me that everybody accuses everybody of being a transgender, but she's always just been like one of the weirdest looking people to me, and it doesn't mean that she's transgender, but I just find it interesting, because I've always had this kind of thought in the back of my head, if anybody is one, it's got to be her. But, again, just that she became the big story on the day of the Equality Act, too. I'm just thinking, I think my intuition might not be too far off here, so can only say so much before all the... cancel culture losers come and flag the video and Google does their dirty work taking down the truth. But hey, before I go, you guys, where are the likes at, man? Can we get some likes in here? Oh my goodness, we can't even get likes, you guys. You have to like the video for it to show up on a stranger's feed. Have you guys ever logged onto YouTube and there's just that splash page, you come on and all of a sudden there's some live feed going on and you look at it and you're like, whose channel is that and what are they talking about? Like, why is that up here for me? The reason that's up there for them is because that guy's getting a lot of likes. So the more likes a video gets, the more likely it is to show up in more strangers' feeds. There's probably somebody on YouTube who logged on today and somehow by a miracle, by the grace of God, in their splash screen, my video might have been there because it had a decent amount of likes, but had it had, 1,000 likes, then it probably actually would have actually shown up in a few people's things. So, again, just liking the video, you guys, is the most simple way to help the work have a chance to spread. That's the way this machine works that they built. And also by leaving comments. Here, I'm going to do one more thing before I leave. I'm going to try not to be insulting. Sometimes I struggle with that. I realize a lot of you guys like this YouTuber right here, because a lot of you guys write me about and what I think about this person. Quantum of Conscience. And Asif, who's here, said he used to watch Quantum of Conscience, but he kind of got bored of his work, I guess. So I recently checked out this guy's channel, and I identify with him for the reason that he sees that everybody's asleep, and it's so frustrating, and it seems that something's severely wrong with the world. But then I hear him talk about other things. I guess he went to Berkeley, so he must be a pretty smart guy. He's talking about how he went to Berkeley. Then again, my friend Angelina went to Berkeley, and she thinks all this is nonsense, which, to me, she forgets who taught her how to drive a stick shift and a whole bunch of other things. But anyway, when I started talking about this stuff, she just didn't want to be friends anymore, Angelina. Anyway, this guy... he got all these ideas, and some of them are right, but some of them are just way off the mark. And some things I'm just like surprised. I'm just like, dude, how don't you know that? Or what? You can't make this logical connection? Anyway, I think this guy's way more on point than most people, but what I was going to say about this, I got a little bit jealous when I looked at his channel because he has a lot of comments on like all of his videos. And I used to, back in the day before I got censored, I used to have a ton of comments and views, and all of us would have a lot better if it was back in 2017. All of us are suppressed, but I was looking at this guy's videos and I was like, okay, people identify with him for the same reason you guys identify with me about the world being asleep. You would identify with him because he rants about the same thing all the time. But my thing about watching this guy is he doesn't really know that much about what's going on. He's like lost and confused, and he's convinced that the whole world's a simulation and we don't really have any control over anything. I think that that's false, and I think that worldview is dangerous. Again, I think the reason that the world's like a simulation is because the people who control it, they have it all planned out, and it's just going, it's just going through the motions, and people are just marching along because they have no backbone and willingness to break this matrix, this simulation that's been built for us. I think if we broke the simulation, we'd be out of this tyranny that we hate, this tyranny that he hates. But he's kind of like just his energy and voices that, it's kind of like hopeless, and he's kind of just on here as like therapy and to get out his thoughts. And so again, I'm like, okay, so this, and I don't want, maybe people don't interpret this way, but when I watch him, I just feel kind of like that low vibration, low energy, kind of emasculated. And I know some of you guys hate me for this, but it's another dude with cats. I just don't resonate with guys that have cats. To me, the only reason a guy should have cats in his house is if he moved into his girlfriend's house. I mean, that's it, man. Cats, dude. I mean, I love all animals and I'm nice to animals, but come on, man. Cats? Dudes with cats? I'm used to girls having cats, and I understand why girls have cats. I don't understand why guys have cats. I don't know. So anyway, it's just like this low energy, this low vibration, this down and out, this give up, this beta male stuff. But he does see that the world's sound asleep. And at the same time, I'm like, is this way more people are resonating with these videos? A guy who's lost and confused and doesn't really know that much about anything. Meanwhile, over here, we're correctly nailing the future left and right, showing exactly who's responsible. It's like his video will have 2,000 comments. Mine will have 200 if I'm lucky. It's like, God, that many more people feel like they want to leave a response to this? The beta male energy? And maybe that makes sense, because maybe that's where we're at, is just a society of beta males, and they vibe with that. I don't know. Anyway. But, yeah, for all of you who asked what I think about his channel, I think he's okay, but at the same time, I'm just like, also, what is wrong with the world? This is what people would rather comment on and react to? I mean, the more places I look, the more fucked I feel like we are, so... But I'm still not going to be coming with that beta energy and defeatist, we're in a simulation and there's nothing we can do bullshit, but it's just like, my God, I think the real problem is, I don't know, just the people. All right, you guys. Yeah, I am going to leave it there. Got to put in that work on the tennis. And if you want to join us tomorrow on Patreon, we'll talk a little bit about tennis, a little bit more about futures, because so many people care about all that stuff, and do a little bit more coaching on how to decode games. So that's the Patreon website in the description, patreon.com/Zachary K. Hubbard. And do appreciate everyone who supports the page. Thank you very much. And we are building those resources slowly but surely. And, they are going to pay for things like the app and the website and coming future projects. But, again, we just need those people to see that this work's worth more than 3 cents a day. Just pledge that $1 a month. If every subscriber pledged $1 a month, we could have a team of 10 people, literally. We could afford 10 people, the means to transfer. Just imagine 10 people moving around in like a fancy painted short bus. I think that would be perfect. A fancy painted short bus, GematriaEffectNews on the move. We got resources to travel, come as the team, fold out the big banners, pound payment where the big things happen. I mean, that's what needs to happen, you guys. That's the vision. That's the future. If 60,000 people in the world thought that was worth $1 a month, that movement, it would happen. And I'm sick of saying that over and over. And I didn't say 60,000 before. Before I said 30,000. We could have 5 people and do the same thing. But I mean, there are 60-some thousand people even on this backup channel. So I'm just saying, if we had that, we could even have 10 people. Imagine how awesome that would be. 10's, the more the merrier. When you have a bunch of people on a corner with signs, it gets attention. And if you have resources, you can do things like go city to city, give away shirts, books. That makes people come. People come for free stuff, get a bigger crowd there, raise awareness town to town. That's how it has to be, you guys. It takes resources to do things. 3 cents a day to ignite a movement, to take back the world. I mean, if that doesn't sound like the deal of a lifetime, I guess you're just ready for, I guess you're just content with the tyranny that's coming. I guess that's just what it is. So... So, and to answer a question, I do see a question in the chat. Wasn't I going to hire someone a few months back? Yes, I was. And the plan was that they were going to come out here, but then that couldn't happen because then they had a landlord and a contract for a year. And the thing is, if I have an employee in this state, I have to pay health insurance taxes for them every single month, which is expensive. And I don't want to do that without them coming here. So, yeah, that was a setback. But still, at the same time, for the person out there who's asking that question, like, shouldn't you already done something? I don't need to do anything, you guys. I'm working my ass off every day, and I've been asking for a very reasonable thing. 30,000 people in this community to pledge $1 so that we can get the resources up to make it happen. And we're not even anywhere near that. There's 6,000 people, and that's a new record high to start 2021. It's funny that we got to 6,021 now that I think about it. But that's nowhere near the goal. To me, it's pathetic that there's not people in this world that can come through and do the simple thing that I'm asking. To me, that's pathetic. So don't get on me and say, oh, shouldn't you be doing this and this and this? I shouldn't be doing any more than I'm already doing. You know? I'll tell you what, to be perfectly honest, if I could rewind time, if I would have known what would have happened, if I could rewind time and know that my house was going to get sabotaged and my business destroyed, I would have never put out any of this information, honestly. I would have still had the same goal about changing the world, but I would have waited until my business took off and I, further than it had, and then just paid for all of it myself. So, again, it's just that there should be people in the world who want to get behind the movement and help out. More than there is. The fact that the number is so small is such a pathetic joke. It just speaks to how pathetic humanity is. So, but yeah, there will be a future with employees if people get behind it and help out. I'm doing more than my part. Most of you guys, and all of you out there who sit there and have pledged nothing and have done absolutely nothing, haven't even bought the book, who've done absolutely nothing, because almost no one's bought the book too. I mean, work my ass off to get this book out in time for humanity so we can do something. I mean, this book was out well before winter started, warning about how everything that they're doing to us. 5,000 people bought the book in the world. It's a little more than that now. I think it's up to 5,500. Whoop-de-doo-dah. 5,500 people. It's like on Amazon, you make like $1.50 per book. So it's like, man, it's a lot of hard work to make jack shit. But anyway, you guys, don't act like I should be doing more than I am. When I see that shit, it just makes me think, what a little bitch out there. And yeah, it is true that I did say that somebody's going to get hired. And I'm telling you, that is the honest to God truth. Is then they got into a lease for a year and then they couldn't come out here. And I was just like, well, let's wait until you can come out here. I want the employee to be here, especially when they have serious computer issues. They're a great researcher, but there's a reason, for example, that they have trouble getting up a YouTube channel and all this and do pretty much everything over the phone. So I do love that person, and they're great for the community, but they are technology adverse, and that's just not going to be that helpful of an employee if they can't actually be here working side by side with me. So that is the reason that did not happen a few months ago after we were just about to make the announcement. So anyway, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. And until next time.